In my last video we have solved the second layer of the Rubik's Cube by using commutators and conjugates. In this video we will solve the last layer of the cube by using commutators and conjugates. So make sure you understand how to use commutators and conjugates on the Rubik's Cube. Okay, we will start with the edge pieces in the last layer. One edge piece is already solved. Now we try to solve the last three edge pieces. Now we want to solve these three pieces by performing a 3-cycle. But we encounter a problem now. If we use a 3-cycle, that red piece will go there, the green piece will go there, and the orange piece will go up there. But we don't need the orange piece up there, we need the green piece at this position here. So you can't solve this by using a 3-cycle. If you encounter such a situation where you can't solve these three last edge pieces by using a 3-cycle, you do the following. Just rotate the last layer one time, for example, like that. It doesn't matter in which direction. Now you solve the edge pieces again. Now everything should work out fine. We will now solve the edge pieces. So here we have the orange edge piece. The orange edge piece should go there. So the orange piece should go there. We will use a 3-cycle to move that piece there. So this here is piece 1, that here is piece 2, and that here is piece 3. The algorithm A looks like that. So the algorithm A moved the orange piece at this position without changing the other pieces in the second layer. Now the algorithm B puts piece 3 to that position. Now we reverse the algorithm A, which is that here. And now we reverse the algorithm B, which is that here. And now that piece is correctly positioned. As you can see, these three pieces are already at the right place. But these two pieces have the wrong orientation. What we will do now is we will perform a 3-cycle on these three pieces to permute them. So that here is piece 1, that here is piece 2, and that here is piece 3. That here is the algorithm A. That here is the algorithm B that puts piece 3 to the position 2. And now we reverse the algorithm A. And now we reverse the algorithm B. What we have done now is we permuted these three pieces here. And now we will use another 3-cycle to finally solve these three pieces, and we will also mind their orientation. Now we solve the last three edge pieces. What's new here is that we also have to mind the orientation of the pieces, or else we will end up with the pieces at the right place but with the wrong orientation. You have to understand the following. So let this here be piece 1, that here is piece 2, and that here is piece 3. The algorithm A now puts the green color of the piece 1 at this position here. That means after the algorithm B is applied to piece 3, so the algorithm B would look like that, the color that is at this place here will then be at this position here when the 3 cycle is finished. That means we need to orientate piece 3 properly before performing the 3 cycle by using a conjugate. In our case, we need the color yellow here, so where green is now. That means the yellow side of piece 3 has to be there at this position here, at the side here, which is the case. So this is all right. So we don't need to orientate piece 3 by using a conjugate in this case here, because yellow is already at this side here, and that means yellow will be at this position where green is when the 3 cycle is finished. If this was not the case, we would need to perform the following conjugate. So rotating that right face here 2 times. Now this here would be piece 1, that here piece 2, and that here piece 3. And when performing the algorithm B, you see now red is at this side here. That means in the end red would be at the side where now green is. But we don't want this, so we don't need that conjugate. Yeah, we don't need it because yellow is already at this side and then it will be up there, so this is all right. Okay, because the orientation of the pieces is all right, we can now perform our 3 cycle. So this here is the algorithm A. That here is the algorithm B. Now we reverse the algorithm A. And now we reverse the algorithm B. And as you can see, these 3 pieces are now solved. And the orientation of these pieces is okay too. Okay, the last thing we have to solve are the corner pieces in the last layer. Okay, we will use 3 cycles again to solve these corner pieces. So let's take a look at this corner piece here. We want this corner piece at this position here, orange, blue. So first of all, we use a conjugate to move that piece here right above the position where we want it to be. So this here would be the conjugate we need. Now this piece here is right above the position we want it to be. Now we take a look at the cube like that here. So that orange here, which we want at the bottom here, has to be at the side of the cube, in our case the right side. And now that here is piece 1, that here piece 2, and that here piece 3. And we perform the following algorithm A. So this here is algorithm A. We twist that side up, we move the upper layer in our direction, and then we twist that side down again. You see that piece is now positioned correctly, and that algorithm A hasn't changed the other pieces in the bottom layer. Now we perform the algorithm B, which is that here. Now we reverse the algorithm A, which is that here. And now we reverse the algorithm B. As you can see, now that piece is positioned correctly. And because we have used a conjugate, we also have to reverse the conjugate. which was that here. Okay, now that piece is correctly positioned. Okay, now we will solve the last 3 pieces. Let's take a look at the following piece here. That here, blue and red. We want to have that piece at this position here. So blue and red, blue and red. It should go down there. So this piece is already positioned right above where we want it to be. But the problem here is we need, for performing a 3 cycle, we need that piece here, piece 1 in one layer, and 2 pieces in another layer that are located in the same layer. But here we only have 1 piece in that layer, and here we have 2 pieces. So we need to move that piece to that layer here by using a conjugate. So that conjugate would look like that. We move that piece down there. So now we have that piece here, which is piece 1, this piece here, which is piece 2, and that piece here, which is piece 3. We also have to mind the orientation of piece 3, or else the pieces will be in the right place, but with wrong orientation after the 3 cycle is performed. The algorithm A will put that color here, blue, at this position here, so at the bottom of the cube. The algorithm B looks like that, so it moves piece 3 to position 2. That means that color here, which is at the bottom of the cube, in our case green, will be at this position here where blue is now after the 3 cycle is finished. But we do not need green at this position here. We need yellow at this position here. So we have to use another conjugate to orientate that piece 3 here. In this case, that conjugate is that here. Now this piece here, piece 3, is at this position here. So now that here is piece 1, that here is piece 2, and that here is piece 3. When we now use the algorithm B, which would be that here, yellow is at the bottom of the cube. So after the 3 cycle is finished, yellow will be at this position here where now blue is, which is alright. So the conjugate in this case looks like that. So the original cube looks like that. And the conjugate in this case is the following. So the left face is rotated 2 times. Okay, now we can perform our 3 cycle. So we look at the cube like that. So from this side here. So blue, which we want at the bottom of the cube, has to be at the side, so in our case the left side. And now we perform the algorithm A for the 3 cycle. So the algorithm A looks like that. We move that face up, then we move the upper layer in our direction, and then we move that face down again. Now that was the algorithm A. That piece is now positioned correctly. And the other pieces in that layer here aren't affected by the algorithm A. Now we move piece 3 to the position 2, which is the algorithm B. So the algorithm B looks like that. We rotate that layer 2 times. Now we have to reverse the algorithm A, which is that here. Now we have to reverse the algorithm B, which is that here, 2 times rotating the bottom layer. And then we have to reverse the conjugate, which is that here. And you see the cube is now finished. So the cube is solved. Okay, if you have watched all my 3 videos about the Rubik's Cube, you should now be able to solve the Rubik's Cube by using commutators and conjugates. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. That would help a lot.